One of the best sports moments this year was Sophie Cunningham getting heavily booed in left-wing Portland and then immediately draining a three in the face of the crowd.
Loses the handle right to Sophie Cunningham, who knocks in the three.
It's an untenable situation for the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham is getting booed in every single arena that she plays in and is getting trolled by the actual WNBA teams and franchises. This is, of course, a bigger threat than the dildos that were flung onto the court. Sophie Cunningham handling it with grace.
Being in Canada. But the crowd was absolutely amazing. And, you know, I think that's what sports is all about. You're going to get boos, you're going to get cheers. But just the fact that they're so passionate, they're loud, and they're putting on for the city, I think it's amazing. So shout out to you guys for
absolute class act, in spite of the fact that she does get booed every time she touches the ball. She does have supporters as well. We're not trying to paint a dark picture here. But the WNBA is clearly standing institutionally against her, revealing non-binary mascots while Sophie Cunningham is on the court. This was what happened in Toronto. They released I don't really know how to describe this exactly, a Megan Rapinoe, Elliot Page mascot. I don't know exactly what this looks like. It's perfect, though, because it's hideous and weird and a turtle and butch. And it's supposed to be a non-binary mascot for the Toronto team. And, of course, they waited. Yeah, perfect. Why are they always looking like that? Yeah, they actually nailed it. I mean, hard. 10 out of 10. No notes. You actually did nail sad, over-medicated, non-binary person perfectly. You don't hate the WNBA enough, but it seems institutional, right, what they're doing. And they planned this. Obviously, they couldn't do it without league support. And here you go. Oh, yes, everyone's so excited. Anyway, Sophie Cunningham was in New York last night, playing at the Barclays Arena, and a bunch of people supporting Sophie Cunningham. Yes. Feminists for women's sports.
Let women speak! Speak! Let women speak!
I mean, here we go. They have the XXXY protests outside of the arena. Obviously, there was quite a bit of booing of Sophie Cunningham, but there was also, once again, while there were supporters, Sophie Cunningham supporters and trans rights activists face off. So this is now becoming a major point in the culture war here. There was something remarkable that happened inside of the arena. So while there were protests and things going on outside, inside, the arena kept flashing on their billboards, "Hey, trans fans, glad you're here. Go Liberty." Welcome, trans Liberty fans. You are loved and you belong. Welcome to the big New York Liberty transgender fan community. So excited to be here with you all. A woman says the New York Liberty tried to change a scoreboard message she paid for with the team saying the message is limited to positive celebratory content. So they couldn't, so the women who support women, genetic women in athletics, wouldn't be able to get their messages on the billboards. But the New York Liberty showed 3 messages at halftime to support trans people. You don't hate the WNBA enough. The New York Liberty allowed 3 pro-trans messages to be displayed during the game. While Sophie Cunningham was there, 3. What an absolute joke. But they denied the messages from Jennifer Say, who's in charge of the XXXY athletic brand. Bad. Look at this. WNBA have gone out of their way to taunt Sophie Cunningham. That's a fact, since she took her common sense stand to protect women's sports and spaces. They've shown trans flags, shirts, overly pro-trans messaging, all on the video board. Totally and completely unacceptable. Here's the support Sophie Cunningham rally outside of the center. It's cool, you know. WNBA committed its own humiliation and destruction to the degree of truly unprecedented. My thoughts on this, my theory on this is that the WNBA is the last vestige of woke, that it's like time traveling back into 2022, like peak woke. Like the WNBA is asking Dylan Mulvaney to play, right? Giving Dylan Mulvaney brand deals and ad deals. And this is like that woke didn't die in the WNBA because it is a league that is centered entirely on hatred of white people, intersectionality, DEI, diversity, and the woke mind virus runs straight through the entire organization. That this is where woke went when we killed it virtually everywhere else. And so it's going to be very interesting to see if it gets uprooted. And that's what's kind of unique about this scenario is that we've been able to isolate the WNBA and humiliate them, and they don't know how to respond. This was the scene last night.
As supporters of Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham's comments about transgender players in women's sports faced off against opponents before the two teams faced off on the basketball court.
Let women speak! Let women speak! Trans lives matter! Trans lives matter!
Outkick reporters were in that crowd and caught up with some of the women rallying to protect female athletes. Watch.
I think that it's also showing that the narrative is kind of twisted. All we're asking for is privacy, safety, and an equal playing field. And that's not what we're getting right now from high school to here. And that's all we're fighting for.
The WNBA needs to take a leadership position. The commissioner needs to stand up and she needs to say, we're going to test for sex, put all of this chaos behind them.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can understand that Sophie Cunningham probably is getting institutional pushback because she's calling for the WNBA commissioner to be outed after trans controversy. So this is probably why this is happening. She says, you don't have a person in power who is bold, who is confident, who wants the best for her players and not for themselves. I do feel like as a whole, that could be a position that may be open at the end of the year. So this is Sophie Cunningham calling for the firing effectively of the WNBA chief executive. And this is the same lady who said that she doesn't know what a woman is after meeting with a bunch of other women for 16 hours in their corporate headquarters. And they couldn't come up with anything other than attacking men. So par for the course, perfect. Yeah. So it's just a dumpster fire at the WNBA. Now the chief executive, the CEO of the WNBA, is being asked, "Are you going to leave? You going to leave? You going to leave the position?" And she's pissed about this.
Didn't know what you wanted to do, so I guess I'm just curious, how much do you want to stay the commissioner of the WNBA? How much longer do you anticipate to be in this role?
Well, thank you, Maddie. I do crack up how everybody's focused on me, and you should be focused on the hundreds of amazing women and thousands of women who run this league outside of myself. Our women owners, our women board of governors, our women GMs and women head coaches, and my whole team of diverse women and men who are working hard every day to get the 30th season tipped off by May 8th. But I appreciate that you're focused on me as well. I wonder whether you would ask that of a man, by the way. But I realize as women, we get asked different questions than men do. But
yeah, that's right. Nobody's ever asked a man who's a failure, when they're going to resign. Nobody's ever asked that. This never happened before. Somebody who's tanked the league and destroyed the livelihoods of their players and they're isolated the vast majority of the country. No man has ever been asked that question. You're right. You're uniquely being attacked here. Thanks for proving what a woman is by taking no accountability. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe.